the crowd. We do not have a mic in the crowd. I'll hand my mic off to you. So when we get to that portion of the Q&A, if you guys want to line up around this side, and I'll hand you my microphone, and then you guys can ask whatever questions you guys like. All right, are we ready to get this panel underway? All right, let's bring them out. Up first, we have Courtney Gains. What's up, Courtney? All right, you guys can get right there. All right, let's give a big round of applause for John Franklin. And next we have Sean Philbin. And last but certainly not least, we have Fritz Kiersch. Did I say that right? Welcome, guys. Oh, is it on? Let's check. Let's check the mics.
Check. Fritz tried to push me out of the way when I got announced. I don't know what that was about.
Because I'm taller and I'm better looking.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
I'm short.
Backstage.
You're tall.
All right, well, our mics are working. Sorry, there's a little bit of feedback, but it's so good to see you guys. Thank you guys for being here at Spooky Empire. This is really exciting. I was talking to Fritz backstage. I was asking him about how often you guys get to be reunited, do these really incredible conventions, and I want to know, what is your favorite thing about the four of you guys getting to be reunited at conventions?
You're asking me? I'm sorry.
All of you.
Yeah, start with Fritz. Start with Fritz.
Go. Okay, sorry. I think. You know, it really is. What, we went maybe 20 or 25 years without seeing one another as a group, and then the fellowship that comes in and the fun that we have. We constantly joke with one another. It's kind of one of those things I look forward to when I hear, oh, you're going to go to such and such, but I'm going to hang out with the Double Johns and with Courtney. Fantastic. Let's go tell jokes and cause problems and be able to meet a lot of people. So it really is a combination of a few things. It's fun.
Which ones? Which ones is it a combination of?
The ones where I'm featured in the front. Is that a problem?
I think the thing for all of us is that it's our first film, right? So we did this all together. It was his first directorial feature. It was our first acting gig. And it, it obviously worked out. Here we are 40 years later. So I think that's kind of the special bond, we popped our cherry on this one, right, Jim?
Also, through the years, I mean, Courtney and I saw each other more than 25 years because we both lived in LA, and he would come to my house for Thanksgiving, and we would just see each other more. And we actually formed our own Corn Boys with a Z, where we were, I was setting like not old envelopes, but envelopes full of our headshots, trying to get gigs. And
before there was conventions,
Yeah.
we were doing appearances at haunted houses and corn mazes.
And corn
So we were
mazes.
ahead of the curve, way ahead of the curve.
that was fun.
And I want to know what a Thanksgiving is like with the two of y'all. What is that like? That must be so much fun.
Well, first we have to kill the turkey in the backyard. We need to drain the blood.
And I have to cut it, of course, with a big knife.
Cooking, maybe not. We don't always cook it.
Love it. Okay, so mentioning like first directorial debut and like some first films, I wanted to know, what did you guys know about this film going into it, and what was the audition process like?
Well, first of all, there was a woman now passed away. We all really owe a lot to Linda Francis, who was the casting person who brought us all together. And the casting, I was making television commercials at the time, so we were meeting people during the in-between commercial production. So the bite and smile, this is good tasting tuna would be kind of interrupted in the afternoon by guys with knives and machetes like Courtney and stuff. So it was fun, it was intense, and I think the whole process was one of discovery. We really were discovering a lot, and it went through the process of making the film as well. A lot of, this will be cool, let's try it. What can we lose?
I've always wanted to ask you this. Did you see my tape and hire me? Is it you, or did my agent shove me into the movie? Because I was set to do another movie, and I had 4 weeks, and they said, go meet Linda Francis and the guy's name, I don't know, Jeff Greenberg, and audition for this horror movie because I'd never worked in front of a camera before. And I would do an audition. I'd be open up to the stage, and he goes, John, you don't have to open up to the house. I mean, this is a film. You look at you pretend it's real. But I'd never done it before, so he said, you should get some experience. So I got to audition for Linda. Did you see my audition? Did you hire me? So you didn't hire me. You met me on the set and went, who are you?
Yeah, right.
I'm playing Amos.
Now, there was a bag of cash that came along with your name.
Right. That's it's very popular now to pay to be in movies, if you didn't know that.
No, we all looked at your tape. You stood out.
Oh,
Linda Francis,
yes.
again, to honor her contribution and knowledge, specific knowledge about casting, she pointed to you. That's the guy.
I love
pointed
this.
to all of you. These are the guys.
I love
and
this.
Making TV commercials where advertising agencies kind of give you the same, authority. Make this choice on this person. I just said, sure, that sounds like a great idea. Except, Courtney, your story with the knife is unique.
Yeah, so I owe Linda Francis a lot. She had seen me in a showcase and became the first casting director who believed in me, and I auditioned for another film before this that she cast me in, and the film didn't happen. And then she brought me in on this, and she definitely was the one who championed me. But the story goes, Jeff Greenberg went on to become a huge casting director on television. It was a fake plastic knife, but he didn't know it at the time. I pulled it on him and put it under his throat, and he about wet himself. So it's not what you're supposed to do. That's not a professional thing to do. But and he would tell people that when he spoke for years and years. Don't ever do that to a casting director. But somehow it worked out for me, and helped get me the gig.
I had just moved from Chicago, south suburbs, to Los Angeles, and a few weeks later, I was graduated from college. There's the little thing called the internet now, so I can't lie anymore. But so I got an agent right away because I was over 18, looking 12 or 13, and got the audition right away and went in and kept getting callbacks. So that was always a good thing. And then after a while, I got the last callback. They were just different Malachis coming through. So you don't want to get cocky and think, oh, I got this part. But it felt good, so something was right. And then he comes in and he just grabs me by the lapels and says, oh! I know, but it was like so cool because I come from the theater. I'm like, yeah, this is the one. If I had any input at all, pick him.
Courtney, were you the first one cast in Children of the Corn? Were you the first one?
The what?
Yeah. The first person cast, the first act.
I think I was.
You were the first person cast.
Yeah, he had it in the bag.
But you auditioned together?
Yeah, they were on during callbacks.
During callbacks, they
But
put
the
you
last
together.
callbacks,
He was the only one.
I was the only one.
by that
They were pairing me with different Malachis.
This is my favorite part of conventions, is hearing these stories. This is so cool. And the money. But this is money.
We love the honesty. It's so fun. So this was a movie that I watched way too young, and obviously, it impacted me a lot, right? I'm seeing, kids my age at the time doing these crazy things, and the murder, and the sacrifices and everything. What was it like for you guys being on set, essentially being kids dealing with this really dark subject matter, and was there a way that you guys had to decompress?
I decompressed at the rat party by drinking Everclear. Because you could get that across the border of Nebraska at 17 or something. And danced with every girl in the cast and crew, which I've never done before or since. And I sort of exorcised this guy from me. And I woke up with no hangover, got on the plane. Can't explain it, but that's how I dealt with it.
I was 23, 24 when we shot the film, looking 12. But I just also danced with a lot of people at the cast party. I think I'm the only one here that still has the crew jacket. I was afraid to bring it, but it's green. It's got a really cool scythe. Yellow.
It's a corduroy.
Yeah, it's very good. But I had just done a play in Chicago where I played a possessed kid. So I kind of brought that to it. And I was just acting. I'd always loved Stephen King. So there was I just get on the plane and you go on to the next job. So there's no dragging Isaac with me.
I didn't get to kill anybody but myself, and it was really, I'd always wanted to do it. So it was my first job as an actor ever, was to carve a pentagram in my chest and offer myself to he who walks by the roads. And I was a sacrifice, and I was 23, hopefully looking 19. I think, if you would have waxed my chest, I could have gone a little younger. They weren't
Kind of a personal thing, and I don't.
But I'm way more into that character now than when I finished that movie. I'm way more into that guy.
I also wanted to ask about, how did the community, because you guys filmed in Iowa, correct? How did the community in Iowa, react to this film being filmed there?
They were so kind and wonderful, and there was one town that just said, oh, here, have the towel, we'll leave. You know, it's like, it was insane. But it's like, we were staying at Howard Johnson's, and delicious. And the women that worked there, we were all crying because you spend a couple weeks with these people and you talk and get to know their stories. And same thing with the kids that were from the local high school theater groups, and you just get to know people. And it was very sad to leave.
Well, these guys go back. They get to go back they show the movie in a location like Courtney's going.
Yeah, I'm going this year to Iowa. They're going to actually show the film in a cornfield. Fritz did it last year, right?
2 years ago, but yes.
And the guy that was my best pal at the time, I had talked to him since, and found me on Facebook, and he's going. So I knew as soon as I saw his face, I knew him. Jeff's his name, and I was like, I can't believe we're going to see this guy. So it's going to be crazy to go back there after 40 years and see these locations and see the movie in a cornfield and see the guy that was my best pal there. So it's going to be wild. I'm getting old. It's kind of crazy.
But 5 years ago, we did a very small convention in Iowa, and one of the girls, she plays the waitress that pours the poison. Her name's Peggy. So she and her husband came to the show. We all had a drink afterwards, so that was really cool.
Well, I'll tell you this, I'm sorry, because I think it's kind of bizarre. Even though everyone was wonderful, and I must say the community embraced the company, because we did ask for favors like, no, let's just empty the town, can that be done, those kind of things. There was a celebration fundraiser one evening about 3 weeks into the filming for the theater group, the local theater group, and they had casino night. And so they invited the company to go to casino night with real money. And now these are Hollywood sharks, the crew, who were told, lose your money so you can help the charities. But no, baby needs shoes. These guys, they went to town and they just took all the money away from the poor charity. There was nothing. I was really embarrassed. Guys were counting their $100 bills. Give it to these guys.
At least you feel bad. All right, so we're going to take some questions from y'all. So if you guys want to start lining up right over here, and I will gladly pass up my microphone. It doesn't seem like anything is too off limits here today, right? All right.
No, and this movie or any other movies or anything you want to ask about, just ask.
Whether they're in them or not. All right, here we go.
Hi, I'm Steven. I wanted to ask, I just saw you in Brooklyn Nine-Nine recently. I hadn't watched the show until recently, saw it on Netflix. I'm like, holy shit, that's Isaac. So my question to you is, did you guys get typecast a lot, like have a hard time finding comedic roles after Children of the Corn?
I moved to California to get on a sitcom. That was what I wanted. So I did more theater, get funny roles in Artful Dodger with Davy Jones with the Monkees, 3 months in Florida, 2 months in Seattle. But I love to get Brooklyn Nine-Nine was so much fun. The character's name was Tina Boyle, the guy, and it was this whole wild plot. But I was like king for the day because all the actors I was with, I was playing the wacky cousin of one of the cops, and they were just like, "Oh, you were in Children of the Corn! Oh my God!" They were like, seriously, it was like, and all the crew was like, blah, 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 blah. And they're like asking me, "What are conventions like? What is this?" And it was like, seriously, king for the day. I was like, wow, it was very fun, and it turned out great. It was a beautiful part.
So the impact of that, Children of the Corn coming out, I was not ready for it, right? I mean, it was like, everywhere we went, people were staring at us, and kids were crying to their parents and stuff, right? I was not ready for this. So the one decent thing I did to myself was, I can't play this role again, like right away. So I made it a point in the 80s to not play the same role twice. So I was able to then, have successes in comedies and dramas, and I think that served me well to have a long-term career, because by the time I was done being a teenager, I had a body of work that showed various roles. I was a character actor, and I could do a lot of things. So that's how I handled it.
Just whenever I get mad at somebody, I go, Malachi! He wants you too, Malachi!
He was driving down the street, dude.
So thank you for that.
In malls, it happens.
Thank you for that, by the way.
And people have come up and said, "Oh, I named my child Malachi," or "I named my child Isaac after you." I'm like,
and that child's a real pain, right? Or that animal. They're like, yeah. I'm like, I wonder why.
There are 2 women that I know of that have my face tattooed on their arm. And they're going, "Oh, you sat there for 5 hours?" I'm just, okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Jim. How are you doing? Nice to meet all of you. I have 2 questions. First, I wanted to ask, was there any talk about going further back in the book? Because I know they talked about, was it the man in blue or whatever, like the police officer, it was pretty much the last one.
Yes,
the
the
blue
Blue
man.
Man.
Was there any talk to go further back a little bit to talk about that story?
It's a funny question because you, as well as many people, have asked about this particular character relative to the novella. And I recall we filmed the death of the Blue Man, but somewhere, obviously we did not put it into the film. We only put the skeleton on the cross portion of the Blue Man. But it's been brought up a number of times, and I don't know what happened to it, what it's all about, but a lot of why the film is the length and the film that it is because of distributors. You have to, at that time, you're contractually obligated to make a film for so many minutes. So certain things can't survive, certain things can be extended and so forth. And we were obligated to make a film for a certain, I think it was 90 to 95 minutes. So it would show so many times in a theater, so the exhibitors would get their money. So it was more fiscal than it was art, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just, when you read specifically like Stephen King, he starts like in a story, and you're like, there's a story before this, and there's a story after this. It never just ends. It's just kind of like
It's a good prequel idea. You got some money, you can make a movie.
Well, we'll talk about all those. I don't want to get sued.
We got an agent, we got a manager, babe.
The last question I just wanted to say was there anybody who was in cast that you became a big star that you guys know of that was like, oh, that person became, I don't know who it was, but whoever it was, like maybe there was another Malachi?
We did a convention in Chicago, or it was in New Jersey, but we spoke with Sam Raimi, the director, and he interviewed to direct Children of the Corn.
Wow.
He didn't give the gig.
No chops. The kid has no
Totally
chops.
different.
I'm sorry.
Linda Francis said, you.
My name is Chelsea, and I want to thank all of you for attending Spooky Empire. I noticed at least, although the original, the very first Children of the Corn movie is phenomenal, and then I think of all those various sequels and remakes that have occurred over the years, including the one you reprised, Isaac, in 666. Have any of you seen, or I don't know, take a dip with those sequels, or seen those? If so, any interest or something that was peculiar?
To write number 6, my writing partner and I watched 2 through 5, and we just said, let's just forget it all. So we just said, let's just pick up. Isaac was in a coma, because it's ambiguous how it ends in 1. He's in the cornfield chewed up, but hey, that's movie magic. So, and then we picked up that he came out of the coma in 666. And again, it's low budget, super fast. We had Stacy Keach and Nancy Allen, but in the writing sessions, the producer said, we can afford this. You can chop a girl in half. You can execute someone. Seriously, it was a list, a laundry list. And they also said, oh, and you have to have a sex scene. So we wrote the script, blah, blah, blah. So it was by the numbers. But it was Kari Scotland got to direct it. She did The Crow and a lot of other great stuff. So it turned out much better than I thought. And I have not seen anything past that.
I guess that would be the best of any of the sequels and remakes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Irish. I just wanted to know if anybody had any fond Linda Hamilton memories.
Yeah, so the first scene in the movie where I come out of the cornfield, that actually was the first scene I shot, which was a nice way to ease me in. I didn't have any dialogue or anything, right? But so they ended up slipping the guy underneath the sheet when she comes out and scared the crap out of her for real. And I thought, oh, this is how movies work. They just constantly do pranks. It's still to this day the best prank. She jumped so far back and she was like, "You son of a bitches!" It was awesome. That was the best.
She thanked us for doing that because it gave her organic,
No, she was a great sport. She's the sweetest lady.
And I just talked to her last week. She's in she's got a series. She finished that and she went right to Toronto on another film that she's working on right now. So she's back. She's said, Fritzy, I'm making movies. Come on, let's go. Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, hello, my name's Lauren. I just have a question for, the director of the film. I just wanted to know, when you were taking the book as adaptation for a film. Was there anything from the book that you found difficult to put in the movie? The whole thing.
Like the ending with the corn cobs in their eyes.
Yeah, all that stuff. Actually, this is the truth, and the truth is always funny in these kind of things. So the original script was a Stephen King script that was not, no one wanted it in Hollywood. It was just not attractive. It was a very political slant. It was all about the Vietnam recovery and some other issues that were strongly placed in the novella. And then the one group that took interest in it was Hal Roach, who made the Little Rascals, and he had an idea to reinvent the Little Rascals through this idea. Yeah, a little scary. No one wanted that, and this group who had just taken over the Roger Corman title of New World Pictures, they bought it, these two lawyers, found the financing, and that was the script. So, okay, this is cool, let's read it. What is this all about was kind of what we started to figure out. And the studio executive, who claims producership on the film, Don Borchers, called us to his house, and he had a pair of scissors that you cut fabric with. They're like 10 inches long, those big shears. And he would hold up a page and say, oh, this is shit, and he would just cut it. Then he would collapse the page with Scotch tape on another piece of paper and hand it to the writer. Okay, clean that up, and then clean that up. So we spent a Saturday cutting out everything that was in that script and then adding the things that would make it genre-specific and conventional to a teen horror film. So it was really done with scissors, you know?
That's amazing. It's an old-fashioned editing.
It is, it works great.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Hi, Tracy. I was just gonna ask, was Stephen King on set a lot? And like, did he like offer like advice or commentary?
No. Steve and I, we go way back. But that, you know, Stevie,
not to come.
no, actually, there was no conversations or contact at all with him. He was happy that the fees that he received for his work were to the level that he wanted. Let's put it that way. They're a lot. They took away from our budget. And then the one note that I did get from him was after the film was done, and it was a note from him to the studios saying how much we had taken away from his book, his novella, and how he disliked it. But today, he puts us in a category of he likes it relative to all the films of his work. So it's nice. But no, he didn't.
Thank you.
That'd be amazing.
Yes, Millie. Hello, Millie.
No animals.
Yes, the dog was on. No.
Sarge?
We got rid of the Sarge.
Yeah. We went to a barbecue.
No animals were harmed in the filming Children of the Corn.
So obviously, like you mentioned, you know, it's been over 40 years and we're still here celebrating this film. So what? Yeah, woo, we can definitely. What do you guys think it is like? What do you think it is about Children of the Corn that gives it this incredible staying power?
My theory is that, you know, it came out in the 80s when metal started kicking in, and I think that teen angst, the fantasy of killing the adults, I think comes to every new generation, and I think that's why this thing keeps going, you know?
Courtney has a great theory also that as the film came out, Stephen King's career also kept
Yeah, that helped.
trajectory and taking off, and we just got on and took the ride.
Get in there, Philbin.
80s stuff has come back. When we made it, I didn't think it was this could possibly happen. But 80s stuff came timing. That's what I want to say. Timing. I just woke up. I don't know where I am. But timing is everything, and also the sincerity with first timers. The sincerity. Thank you. The sincerity of first timers reads through in film. You are authentic.
I mean, we definitely had a lot of passion for it, I must say. There was passion, everybody, even the person who got coffee was dedicated to the process of making a film. We were collectively filmmakers, regardless of what our actual category of job and responsibility was. We were all contributing with ideas and thoughts and energies, and we worked, 15, 17-hour days in the cornfields and all that kind of stuff. But to the point of the question, it really does fall in the category of things that are universal. When looking at the story and talking with the producers, this is a story that goes after the fears of all kids between 12 and about, maybe even younger, 8 and about 16. That the unknown, the scary wind, the trees, the cornfields, the things that we don't have answers for. So if you propel that and you continue that as a mechanism in making your film, you're always going to attract everyone's common fear. And those, if you look at what makes fear, that falls in the category. So it works well. It always works well to go after that simple thing, the unknown. Make the unknown, or make the familiar strange, is the term. You can join my class later.
Name of the next title, Familiars Make the Familiar Strange.
So Courtney, Robbie, what about the Burbs? Tell us about that. Yes, nobody has asked about that yet. Hey, Pinocchio!
It's a pretty broad question. What about the Burbs?
Give us a little bit behind the scenes of the Burbs. What did you, like, how was it on that set?
So things that come to mind are, number one, there was a writer's strike going on during the film, and I was too young to really realize. I'd been working. I was like, I'm working, but I realized all these adults were like freaking out that they were not knowing how they were going to pay their mortgages, you know, and then pay their bills. So it was literally us at Flesh 2 on the entire Universal lot. And we were shooting nights, so most of the time it was just us. So that was strange, you know, and all I could say is, you know, Tom Hanks, you know, as an A-list actor, is the most down-to-earth A-list actor I've ever met. And when you have that at the top, that makes life a lot easier, because if he's not, you know, if he's not acting like a jerk off, then nobody else really can, right? So he sets the tone. And then Joe Dante is just a, you know, he's a film lover, and it really shows in his work. I think he's a film lover first. And he was just very encouraging, and he made a lot of decisions about that character, probably more than most of the times with me. He would go get some teeth made by this guy, and then get him and come back and let me see him. Here's how I want you to cut his hair. Go get here's this squat, make lederhosen out of it. And he'd go, now when that's done, come back, and he'd look at me and he'd just laugh, and he goes, you're never gonna work again.
Now, you've also worked with Rob Zombie.
Yeah. So I did a little bit on Halloween. The main thing I'd say about Rob, and I knew somebody else that had worked with him as he was an AD, assistant director on a project. And he said, you know, don't get married to the lines you have. He changes things. And I was like, okay, cool. So that was very helpful. And that scene that we did he ended up adding an extra day because he kept working on it to find the truth. And that's what really stood out for me about Rob, is he keeps working till he believes it, you know? And a lot of people just rush through things. But the funniest thing was, you know, there's a monitor, you know, when people are filming, and everybody hangs out at the monitor to watch shooting, right? Well, we come between camera moves, there'd be nobody there, because nobody wanted to watch that rape scene. And he'd just be going, this is very disturbing. This is very disturbing. I've never seen that happen before, where nobody wanted to watch the scene. So I guess we were doing something right, I guess.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
You have about 10 minutes left. If you guys do have any more questions, we will gladly take them. In the meantime, since we're here at Spooky Empire, again, we're talking about Children of the Corn, I want to know, what are some of your favorite scary or horror movies?
Yeah, my somewhat cliche is The Exorcist. I saw it in a movie theater when I was 10, and you know, I couldn't sleep that night. You know, every time I closed my eyes, I'd see her. And ironically, Eileen Dietz works. That's how I got introduced to my manager, Chris Rowe, over there. So the one movie that scared me the most as a child is the person who got me to my manager doing these horror gigs. So how about that?
I was 12 years old, very mature 12, and I was babysitting my 3-year-old brother. So my parents went out on a date, dinner, whatnot, and then I started watching Creature Features, which had Sven Gulli in Chicago, and it was Night of the Living Dead. So I'm freaking out. Of course, my brother's asleep, and I just take this big armchair, I jam it up against the front door, and and then I fell asleep, of course, and my parents come back at 1 a.m., and all of a sudden, pounding on the door, my dad, wake up, and I'm like, ah! I thought the zombies were coming in at me! So it's like, again, the visceral experience just has cemented Night of the Living Dead. I would see that once since I was 12, and I just can't watch it anymore because it's just like, ah!
I like Frankenstein, Creature of the Black Lagoon, Wolfman, and Invisible Man. I grew up with those things, and Dracula, any Dracula thing. love those movies, and then obviously The Exorcist changed. You know, it's too scary. But recently I saw Hereditary. I think that's the modern horror movie that just freaked me.
Hereditary.
There's a boatload of films that affected me, but we were talking about today, Chris and I, in fact, with you, Chris, Wicker Man. What a fantastic.
The original.
Yeah, the original. It's just a fantastic piece of cinema and writing, and just a smart film made on a budget and so forth. But then years ago, I saw, I guess I was about 14, I saw this silent film that was made called Un Chien Andalou, and it's Salvador Dali did it. It's a surrealist film where a woman's eyeball is sliced by a razor. That moment changed me. I went to diapers after that, and then I saw Clockwork Orange and the eyeballs. And that brought me in Malcolm's work, and I thought these are kind of definitive pieces where the moments that go on in cinema are really exciting. The story is great, but these emotional moments that drive you, that's what horror's about.
All right, we have time for a couple more questions before we all go get tattoos of John on our arms after this panel.
I'm gonna go get a tattoo of John.
Yeah, like
Show up all bloody and get signed.
when we exit the panel room, we have to go through the tattoo room. It makes sense, right? It's the flow of things.
It's a thing.
All right, someone's coming. Here we go.
All right, yeah, come on. What's your name?
All right, 3 more questions.
All right, gotta go.
Hi, my name's Carrie. My question's for John. So one of my husband and I's favorite movies that you're in is Tammy and the T-Rex. And just any story that you have about the film that you'd like to share, we'd like to hear.
Terry Kaiser played my boss. We were both like mad scientists. I was the computer nerd. But it's like they found this dinosaur that was left over from a theme park somewhere. So let's write a movie about it. So they wrote a movie. But it was a lot of fun working with Terry Kaiser. We were bouncing things off and improvising. And spoiler alert, the dinosaur at the end comes and grabs my head, rips it off. So there's a fun poster on my table. The movie bombed. It was like many years ago. And then sadly, Paul Walker passed away. Denise Richards' career just went well. So it came out recently in a Blu-ray, and they added all back the real gore stuff that they had cut out for the first part. They wanted the first one like PG. And this should be good, dumb fun. I just love it. It's a really fun project.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Megan. Nice to see you, gentlemen. Do you guys have any projects coming up that I can look forward to checking out?
The last decent thing I did was a sequel to Becky, Wrath of Becky. That came out last year. Yeah, I think that came out pretty darn good. So I was happy with that. The character has a great turn in his arc, and if you want to check it out, it's worth checking out. I just did a little horror movie called Infernal. Just did another little horror thing called October 31st, and then a Christmas thing. I don't know if it's going to get like on a Hallmark or something called Christmas Cowboy, where I got to play something very different for a change. So that was nice. So I've been off to a pretty good start this year. So knock on wood, keeps going.
I've been concentrating on writing, and I wrote a young adult novel called Funeral for a Friend. It's about this short kid in Catholic grammar school. And his best friend is 6'4" and lives in a funeral home, and it's all true. 95% of it's true. So follow me on Instagram, John Franklin Cornboy, and it's going to be coming out. I'm going to self-publish it on Amazon and Kindle in a couple months. This has been a crazy year already with all of this. I just had to set that on the back burner. But I love writing.
I just started working. I just left SAG and I got a non-union fan film called Days of Sodom. Look at my managers are both asleep, but they placed me in this fan film. I'm going to Washington D.C. It's the Crow fan film. It's called Days of Sodom. You can donate to it online, and you can buy a part. Pretty cool, if you ask me.
You can buy a part.
You can get in. You can be in the movies for not much.
Which way do I look? I might do this. I've got a couple projects in the works, one of which Courtney will be in.
Yeah, you gotta get this one done. Very cool role, so I hope you can soon.
True crime drama, police drama, kind of Serpico kind of thing that we'll start in we think, late August now in New Mexico, and a documentary, Paul Abdul, about the women of dance, the history of women in dance and how they've been objectified over the years, which is a little too serious for this crowd, but I'm saying that. So yeah, life goes on, still make movies.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, hello there. I just had a question. If you could meet any person in the world, dead or alive, who would you meet?
Oh, William Shakespeare. We were able to go last week to Sheffield and London and did the tour of the New Globe, and then a friend of mine, we went up before the convention to Stratford-upon-Avon, saw Love's Labour's Lost. It's just all the tour of where he was born and died. And it's just very powerful. I left showbiz for 14 years and taught mainly Shakespeare for high school English, so I just love Shakespeare, so William Shakespeare for me.
Duke Kahanamoku for me is an Olympic swimmer and a surfer. He brought surfing to the world. A Hawaiian guy.
Okay, here's my answer. My dad.
Oh,
I'm very proud of my father.
that's nice.
So that's it.
Where is this from?
So no.
Courtney, did you say?
You invented Starbucks.
Schultz is there. Schultz. Can't meet him.
This has been so much fun. You guys are amazing. I love this so much. Before we wrap it up, anything you guys want to leave us with here this weekend?
You're amazing, and we love the fans. We wouldn't be here without you.
Thank you.
Wait, I have one announcement to make, because you're all very important to us. Because of our discussion and bringing up Linda Hamilton, what we've done to contribute to her memory is all of us, plus Peter Horton, plus Linda Hamilton, I'm sorry, Linda Francis. She didn't die, what am I saying?
Take two.
Yeah. I'm sorry, don't print that, okay? Linda Francis passed away. Linda Hamilton, as we mentioned, is alive and well. But we've all signed the original drawing that is Linda casting credit at the front of the film. We signed it, it's framed, and it'll be on auction in July. Courtney will be part of that event. And so we hope it'll be on the internet. So if you look for a truly unique, one of a kind, it's the original drawing, hand-drawn, that the little girl draws at the beginning of the film. And it's Linda Francis's actual title credit drawing. So it'll be cool. So look for that.
Good one. Thank you very much.